What was the vision for Dark Times, and how has it evolved during the development process?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Something that we've spent actually a lot of time working on. We have a lot of various inspirations, but one of the big things when big kids came to us was this idea of a fantasy game, dark fantasy experience. And when we looked at it, I started to take a look at dark fantasy movies and books and literature, and you start to see things like when we look at things like Conan, it's not really dark fantasy, but we can go back and place it in this kind of tone of this immaturity. And I'm going to talk about immaturity a little bit later, but really this idea of having this dark fantasy experience similar to The Witcher, and there are a lot of humorous moments in The Witcher, but just capture that bit of it, right? Not the full experience, but just this one little bit that when you feel it, it's got a big impact on you. And so that really led me down looking at a lot of experiences that almost, if we think about it as a style, it's an abridged way of digesting an experience. And we think about that for a second, an abridged way of dissecting or taking in an experience. We think about stuff like comic books, right? Or we think about experiences that we might find in like wrestling, a very quick promo that's cut in like 5 minutes. I'm going to take you out at the next pay-per-view, right? And then that's it. That's all it's an abridged storyline. And I think that somewhere along the line, when I was looking into these games, and we looked at, Baldur's Gate, I looked at Diablo, a lot of really great fantasy experiences. But we also looked at games like Gang Beasts, and I looked a lot at Yuke's stuff with SmackDown and SmackDown versus Raw, and the things they were doing with the wrestling games back then, and this feeling of giving you total, I'm going to say role play, but really when we're looking at agency and giving control to a player, it's really allowing them to role play a lot better. And, just to give an example of a scenario in, I think it was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, you could walk up to the railings, grab a poster or a sign that a fan was holding and like rip it up. That's how much agency they gave you in those games. You can't do that in the latest WWE 2K24, right? So really for us, what inspired all of this was when we looked back at these older games to try and grab inspiration from old fantasy, what we really found was these really great mechanics that are very systemic and very immersive in how you can combine them. And that really gave inspiration to the mediums that we looked at, like wrestling, where you can pull a chair out from under the ring, right? Or pull out a ladder from under the ring. You don't really know, it's just chaos. And it's creating that exact feel that we want when you jump into the dark times and you enter the arena that first time. That chaos that can come from this experience, you want to be able to feel that from the beginning. And so, yeah, a lot of that inspiration was driven from, those initial fantasy games, but then really looking at these really great fighting experiences and abridged experiences like comic books.
Oh, I love that so much. Like, as a gamer, right? Getting to hear like some throwbacks from your favorite games, or hearing that it came from like the nostalgia of comic books, is such an exciting thing to hear. And to hear that you guys did a lot of research and looked into older games, like in Dark Times, we can grab a barrel and just smack down that onto somebody, and hearing that had some influence from previous games in the past is such an exciting thing. And to think that we're like evolving nostalgia in a way now and bringing that into like our adulthood is such an exciting thing to think about.